hmm Brene Brown had a really cool quote where she said, everybody is so worried that we won't get back to normal. I'm paraphrasing horribly, but she said something like, "What a wonderful gift now that we,
Mhm.
because really our school structure hasn't changed since for hundreds and hundreds of years."
Well, you mean like 100, because we've only had
Oh,
kids in school for
well,
110 years.
okay, 100. Yeah, okay,
Well,
I
I just
do
say
like-
that because I want to point out that
yeah,
that educating your kids isn't a novel idea.
right,
It was more the norm for forever, and the
right,
normal school schedule started with industrial revolution to have babysitting for children.
right.
So so much has come has come up so unorganically when it comes to actually educating, and so much of it has more to do with that bureaucracy with those 30 kids. Most teachers I've talked to have said most of what they learned in school was classroom management, not actually teaching, but how to deal with teaching all those kids.
Right.
And there's so much more to education than school.
Mhm.
It's true.
Which we haven't mentioned how like the different age groups work so much well together at homeschooling. We really didn't even
True.
Oh yeah.
We had the neatest experience because we went to the one-room schoolhouse, and the teacher who taught that day, she was so excited to have a one-room schoolhouse be a one-room schoolhouse, because we literally had kids all the way from kindergarten to 8th grade, and normally she only has 3rd graders, and she's like, "This is so cool. This is what it was really like back then." I said, "Yep, that's how it
It's
is."
a beautiful thing seeing the teenagers talking to my babies and hanging out with them and seeing all this meshing and the way my son is with his little siblings, my eldest with the little ones. I highly doubt it would be that way if he had been gone all the time, because they really, he holds them. Oh, he reads to them and holds them while he's doing his math and all. So it's so beautiful, the relationships that develop.
Yeah, indeed.
It is true.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. I have to get going.
All right.
I really do. I appreciate all the information. I really do. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you so
Jane,
much.
exactly. They do enjoy it. They love their siblings, and if they're given that chance in school, it's so much they're kind of forced to like not like each other. The older kids are so cool, and the younger kids are dorks, and so it's kind of cool that they get that chance to not be segregated from their siblings and all. And they do enjoy working on the projects and art together.
That probably will be the most challenging one for me with my kids. All 3 of them together.
They'll be forced
Let's
to,
see.
but they'll be forced to, but then, yeah, then they'll take care of each other. I'm just finishing the yearbook at the homeschool group that I was doing, and I love the fact that my 5-year-old, his best friends are like 10 and 12. So I have pictures of him with his best buddies, 10 and 12-year-old.
It's very different, but you might be surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Okay. All right, ladies. Have a good night. Thank you again.
Good night. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you all. This was good. This was really fun.
Perfect. I'm glad I could be part of it. Nice to meet you.
Yes, it was nice to meet you, Tracy. It's always, even though after being a few years and feeling confident, having my moms, you always question yourself. You remember. So it's always lovely to get to talk to a true veteran and get that reminder that hopefully, yes, this is gonna all work out.
Right. Yeah, it's to me, it's really funny because I remember being the person looking for veterans to say, yes, this could work. And this will actually happen, and I will graduate a child. And the first time I did that, I think I jumped higher than he did, because I was like, oh my gosh,
I did it.
Right. I still, when my son's reading something or doing something, every now and then it pricks me again. I'm like, I did that. I taught him that.
Right, yeah.
And you'll feel that way all the way up. You'll have those all the way up. And you will literally have that joy. My son did not want to graduate. He did not. He really just wanted to go through, because like there had never been those milestones. he had never done it from 5th grade, so he had never done it from 8th. So he's like, why do I have to do it at the end? I'm like, because I need you to do this. I need you to stand up down to remind myself that I actually succeeded in getting you to that spot.
Yeah.
I said, it's kind of personally selfish this point. And then when he graduated from university, he's like, he got it. Cause like, then, you know, his wife said to him, come on, like, we need to take pictures with your cap and gown. It's really important. Which is so nice. Oh, Jane. If I'm not doing a co-op or an accredited program for my kids, what support is there and where can we find interaction and extracurriculars?
Well, I met Sarah on Facebook and Kelly.
Yeah. There's tons and tons and tons of Facebook groups.
And we'll put a bunch of the links to those on that Google Doc too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll be there. You can choose to do a non-accredited, just like the one that I've been doing with Amanda up until this coming year. It's not an accredited co-op. It's just us parents, you know, using our skills to teach the classes. But that gives them the social outlet. It gives them a chance to maybe like, you know, do woodworking or science projects that you don't necessarily want to buy all the supplies and do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that way they can all do it in the group setting. You know, me and the other Amanda were talking about maybe we should start setting up Zooms for different age groups so that they can get a chance to maybe meet some more people that way. And then the way that we met was, I kind of believe in if you build it, they will come. Right. And preschool is kind of a no man's land when you're a homeschooler, because people going the school route, they're all busy with preschool. And the people who are homeschooling, they don't take you seriously yet, because there's a bunch of people who say they're going to homeschool preschool and don't. Right. So I just set up a Facebook group and called it, you know, pre-KK homeschool adventures. Anybody want to come on adventures? And I would just, hey, anybody want to meet me at the park? Hey, anybody want to do this? And anybody want to do that? And the way we made real relationships, though, because I don't know about you, but this world is so disposable. Everybody's so busy. The reason why, we have similar things in common. Obviously, you know, we've developed, but the way we were able to develop these deep relationships is we made a commitment to ourselves, to each other, and to our kids. Because it's true, it is so easy not to see the same people all the time, because there's a field trip and this and that and this and that. So to make real relationships, they're not in school 5 days a week seeing the same person. You have to make commitments to people to see them and to be able to develop these friendships.
And I did that with my homeschool group when we started. There was only 7 of us, 7 moms, all of our kids. They started 2 years before I became part of their group. And we just looked at what we could all teach, which is why for 18 years, I pretty much taught science, because my husband's a scientist. Science has happened in our house since the day our kids were born. So it's what I taught. It's what I loved. It's, you know, up until last year, it's always what I did. But all of us as moms committed to each other, and we committed to our own kids and to each other's kids. And when we did that, the relationships, I go to graduation open houses for kids I started teaching when they were 5. And they're homeschoolers, those are relationships, and even amongst each other, those relationships never go away. My son's best man was a young man I was teaching as a kid, and they actually, their first interaction was a fight. But that's a friendship that has lasted that time. In fact, he's spending the day with that young man, is visiting from Texas, and they're spending the day together today. So I think it's well worth seeking those friendships out. And I'm sure being in quarantine, you realize that too, to get your kids some friend time. It's really important to them, even if it's just across a yard yelling at each other. It's still something they really appreciate, and so do you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And definitely just remember that this year isn't gonna look like what hopefully the next year and the next year can look like. Mm-hmm. You know, it's gonna be hard no matter how we school our kids. Things are not gonna be normal. And give yourself and your kids grace about that. That's what I say about everything in life. Give yourself some grace.
So true.
Yeah.
You'll never get this far otherwise.
Yeah.
You have to self-grace. I think we're afraid to do that, but we really need to do it for our
Yeah.
own sanity.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry the sound was a little wacky.
But at least we found a way to communicate.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
Hopefully it was helpful.